Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and today we are doing some patriotic things. I happen to love living in America, being born in America. I think that we are very blessed, and I love the 4th of July and Memorial Day and to do things that are more patriotic. I also really love the primitive country feel, so we are going to mix some of those things up today. I'm starting with a Christmas wreath because I had it in my stash. It is a smaller one. It can be put on a table with a large candle in it or can be hung on the door as a wreath. And it already has the red berries and some of the creamy colored pip berries in it. So I am simply going to add a bow to this and add it to my front door. It will go lovely with my tan siding and my burgundy shutters on the white door. So I will try to get a shot of that as well, but primarily probably just use these items in my dining room for this video until I get outside and decorate my porch. Now, if you have not ever made a bow, I am going to show you how simple it is, especially when you have a wired ribbon. You are going to keep a tail. Then you are going to make a loop the size that you want it, and you are going to twist. Then you are going to hold the two twisted pieces in your thumb and finger, and you are going to twist another one, and you are going to hold that between your thumb and finger. And now either on loop 3 or loop 5, you are going to make a small finger loop. So you can just whatever size you want to fill in, you're going to do the same thing. And you are just pinching everything. It is so easy. Just keep it in the same 2 fingers as you make your loop. Hold it, twist it, hold it, twist it. Now, this is nice with 5, 6, or 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever you like. But depending on how much ribbon you have to work with. Sometimes I only have enough to make 5. Sometimes I have enough ribbon left to make more. So, obviously you can fluff this up afterward. You can, kind of make that look a little bit fluffier. I like wired ribbon for these bows because it keeps its shape and it just looks so nice. And then once you have the amount that you want, you are going to cut it off so that your tails are similar in size, and you are simply going to run a wire up through everything that you have pinched. Sometimes it is easier to run the wire up and then kind of squish all of the loops toward the front so that you can twist your wire here nice and tight. See how I'm doing it? Just twist it nice and tight and then attach it to your item. That way it's a lot easier to see your wire, to see where you want that to go, and to get that attached. And then, of course, once you have that attached, you may want to make a loop out of what's left over. That's what I'm doing here, just so I can hang this. Or you can obviously make a loop out of another piece. I'm a little bit out of frame here. Once you have that attached, just go ahead and fluff. Fluff and fluff and fluff. The nice thing about the wired one, you can just make this look any way that you want, and it has a tendency to keep its shape. Between my 2 doors, my glass door and my wooden door, it could get a little bit crushed, so sometimes I need to flatten it just a bit for that. But just go ahead and shape your tails the way that you want them. Now, I could add, obviously, some things to this to make this look a little bit more 4th of July, but I have a lot of other things going on for the 4th here in my project, so I think I'm going to keep this one a little bit basic. You could, though, if you had stars or if you had some little firecrackers, or you could make any number of things here to tuck into this little wreath. And so that is item number 1. Item number 2 was brought home either by my daughter or my husband when they stopped at the good table at the dump, and they gave it to me, and I just left it in my stash. I don't use a lot of red, and so I thought, well, I will keep this for 4th of July or for Memorial Day when I get around to doing some more patriotic designs. And so I thought it would be cute to make it into a little wagon, looking in my stash to see if I had anything round. I found these little wood things that tell you what age your baby is. My daughter had given them back to me after her daughter was a year old. And so she knew that I would use them for something. And here is that something. I mixed a little bit of black into this lighter or brighter colored blue that I had to get a little bit of more navy color blue, and gave them each a coat on both sides. And then I used a wood glue and a hot glue together to add them. I thought I had the camera on, but I obviously had shut it off, to add them as little wheels. And so how cute is that? And then, believe it or not, I had this little piece of wood. It actually came off a yarn winder that was out in my garden. I got it at the dump, and it's been in my garden for years, and it was falling apart. So I burnt the base of it because it was not good for much other than wood for the fireplace, but the handle I thought was adorable. So my husband cut it and then drilled a hole sideways and gave me the opportunity to have a little handle on this adorable little bucket. And here it is in my dining room with that beautiful wreath until I get a chance to put them out on my deck. Now, today's collaboration, 5 Under 5, is hosted by Emily at Farm Charm Chic, as she does every month. Her guest host is Lavender and Lace, and their channels and playlist will be in my description box, so make sure to check that out. And this next one is beyond simple. I bought a set of these, and they have these birds stuck in them with this very thick iron piece. And I have them in different sizes, and I usually keep them on my mantle. But I thought that a very, very simple thing to do would be to take some flags I made last year out of a placemat. They were striped already, and so I just cut off a piece of blue and white star fabric and glued them on, literally making the simplest flags onto a skewer stick. And I'm going to cut one down and make it a little shorter than the other, sand that, and put those in. And that is all I am going to do for this simple one. And I went around my home and found a couple of different things. I had some red and blue books, some red, white, and blue florals, and a picture, America picture with that truck. I added a couple of other trucks in front of it, a few more flags, and then hung a little garland of flags on the front of my mantle to dress that spot up. And that is literally a 5-minute design flip, but has a sweet impact. So that takes me on to the next. This adorable little item was at the dump last year, and it is a little worse for wear, mostly just filthy, but how perfect, red, white, and blue. So the first thing I had to do is give it a very good cleaning. And it does have a lot of black on it. So I really probably should have spent a lot of time sanding it down, but I wasn't sure I was going to actually get that to clean up much anyway. So I thought I would start by taking the navy blue paint that I had just made and give it a fresh coat over the blue so that it will match the other piece, be a little bit more in the navy blue, even though on here it looks a little gray, and just kind of clean that up a bit. So all that took was one good coat of this. This is a latex paint, so this is going outside. So this will hold up better that way out in the elements. And I'm hoping to pop a white floral or probably some kind of a plant in that back bucket. I thought that would be adorable outside on my deck with a new American flag, which I desperately need to put out there. I don't know if I'm going to get this done for this video, so for at least for now, I'm going to put these items in my dining room and show you how they all came out. But it really is the sweetest little, I'm assuming some kind of a vintage toy for a child, but how cute is this? And then I am simply taking some of a more burgundy color red and going over the red that is on the handle and on the little wheel centers to just give this a little bit more of an Americana primitive country kind of look. And because if I do put it on my porch has more of a burgundy tone to the shutters to make that match and not have the red be just too bright. Now, once those colors are dry, I did decide that I had to sand at least a little bit of the natural wood just so that I can get the antiquing wax to take on this very dry wood. So I just went ahead and just kind of lightly scuff sanded that and then went and cleaned that all off and then dark waxed the whole thing pretty much because I wanted some of the red to have some of that darker wax on it as well. And just, you know, this is not going to look perfect. This is definitely rustic and definitely primitive and definitely an outdoor thing for me. But I think just having cleaned it up a little definitely makes it a little cleaner and gives me the opportunity for a couple of more years. And hey, after all, I did get this at the dump, so I am already saving a piece that would have gone into the landfill for a few more years. So I think that these are absolutely so sweet. I gathered some items in my home that I had already, some little Raggedy Anns and some fabric flags I made a few years ago, a couple firecrackers and just things like that to decorate this in my dining room to show you how adorable this looks. But I am going to hopefully get an opportunity to decorate my porch. Don't forget to check out the other creators and see what they have come up with for this patriotic collaboration, and hit like and please subscribe. I am so close to my goal. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.